Hello and welcome. This is your friendly neighborhood Manatee here, and today we are going to be going on another amazing adventure with AppleScript. So as you may remember from my last tutorial, we talked about comments, how to make your AppleScript program, returning alert boxes to the user, beeping the computer, and saying actual words. So now we're going to talk about variables. So no programming language is complete without variables. So if you remember back to, algebra, high school, or something like that, variables are these letters, numbers, symbols, stuff like that. Well, not really numbers, but there are symbols that can contain values. So you can set a variable in your program and you can call as many times as you want and it'll always return the same value you set it to unless you change the value later on. So pretty much let's get started. So to set a variable in your program, you just type set space then your variable name. Now I'm not sure about capitalization variables, but I suggest when using variables, keep them the same capitalization. It's good programming practice. Also, may produce a syntax error. So I'm just going to name this var name, then space, then 2, then your var variable, because it means value. So there's different things you can set this to. You can set it at 2 letters and numbers as a string, or you can set it to numbers so you can run math operations on it and stuff like that. You can set it to a Boolean value like false or true. And I think you can set these to null. So, the very first thing I want to talk to you about are strings. So strings, if you want to set a variable to a string, you just put 2 quotation marks. So inside this is going to be your string or sequence of letters, numbers, and symbols. So this is a string. So whenever you reference this variable var name later on in your program, it is going to recall exactly this is a string. But say you try to multiply 2 times this variable, you're going to get a syntax error because this is a string. So if you want to set this to a number, you can just set this to a number, say 12. So don't use the double quotation marks when using numbers. If you're using a string, use the double quotation marks. That's not it, it's triple quotation marks. So this is a string, and this is a number. Now you can't write this is a number, or it's produce a syntax error. So the final value I want to talk about are Boolean values. So you can either set it to true, or you can set it to false. Now I know I said before, you can't just write this out without the strings. Well, Boolean values are different. They're just either pretty much on or off, 1, 0, yes or no. So these can just be used to keep track to say a state of a form or something. So that's setting variables. Now say you want to run math operations, like multiplication, division, addition, that sort of thing. So of course, first off, you have to have a number variable. So I'm going to set this one to x. So I'm going to set a variable named x. 2, let's just set this to 2. Now we're going to go to a new line and set a new variable y to, let's just say 3. So now I have 2 variables x and y that can be called later on in the program. So I'm going to set a new variable. So set z to x times y. So this is going to take the value of our variable x up here, so which is 2, and then multiply it by the value of y, 3, to return 6. So we're just going to set z to 6, or 2 times 3, whatever you want. So how are we going to return this value to the user? Well, if you recall from the last tutorial, we can do something. Let's just do display dialog z. So we are going to multiply these 2 values together, 2 and 3, and set our variable z to 6. Then we're going to display dialog with 6 inside of it. So we're just going to run this program. And as you can see, we just have a dialog box with 6 inside of it. So that means our program is working correctly and we haven't screwed anything up. So you could also do something like, let's just do say z.
6.
So that returns audio output of 6, or we could just alert z. Display alert. That's what I meant to write. So let me just have an alert box with 6 inside of it. So I'm just going to demonstrate returning variable values with a string. So I'm going to set a new string. So I'm just going to name this. So let's just say var string to this is a string. Next, we're going to call this value. So we're going to say, let's just say var string.
This is a string.
So as you can hear, we have interpreted this as a string over here. I can also just demonstrate this with alert real fast on display alert. And bam, this is a string has been printed. So that's pretty much calling variables. You don't have to do anything special. Just reference it. Just write your variable name, no quotation marks around it or nothing like that. You can also change string types. So say we set var number to, actually no, set var string to 12. So this can currently be accessed as a string of 12, but say you want to multiply 12 by, let's say, 2. So set number, actually I think that makes it just numeral to 2. Finally set result to 2, actually numeral, so we're going to reference this variable here, times var string, so this variable var string, and let's just alert result. So we're going to run this. As you can see, we have a syntax error. Expected end of line but found property. So we return a property which is not what we want. We want a number. So we can change this var string to a number. So we do this as string to the end of it. So take our string right here. Oh, that's not. I mean as number. I'm sorry. So as number, it'll take our string value 12 right here and change it into a number. We could also do this as something as set var numeral to var string as number. So we're going to reference this var string 12, and we're going to turn it into a number, and we're going to store it in this var numeral value right here. So now we can do set numeral to 2, okay, and the result to numeral times var. Let's just change this to numeral. Var numeral. So now we should get 12 times 2 or 24. And I mean display alert. That's also what could have produced a syntax error before. So it still would have given an error, but I mean display right here. Now our program should work correctly. So we're going to run 24. Excellent. But say we take 12 as string. Now we can't multiply string times 2, so we're going to get AppleScript error, can't make string into type number. So just make sure if you're going to change numbers into strings, there's actually a number inside of this and not just an actual string as string. So what else? Oh yes, concatenation. So concatenation is pretty much where you take a string and put it on the end of another string. So I'm going to set string 1 to I like, and I'm going to set string 2 to tacos and cake. So we have these two strings here. Now I want to put these two strings together. So we can do that by setting a new string. So set string 3 to string 1, and then we use the ampersand sign to combine strings together. So string 1 and string 2. So this will just combine these two strings together. Finally, we can just return the results. So I'm just going to display, if I get this right, alert string 3. So now we should print out I like tacos and cake. And there we go. So we can also just access, let's just get rid of this right here. So we also just do string 1 and string 2 in our display alert statement. We don't have to set a brand new variable just for that, so we can just run this. So it looks exactly the same. So you can do that with strings and numbers pretty much. So I think that's about it. Yeah. So I'm just going to do a quick recap in case you forgot anything in the last couple of minutes. We can set variables by typing set var name to, and then what we want. So we set to either strings, so string, which is just letters and symbols, or we set to a number, so var name to 12, this is a number, and you can run math operations with other numbers on it, or you can set to a boolean value as false or true. So also you can change data types as strings, so let's do 12. You can change a string into a number by as string at the end of it, or I mean as number, so change this into a number, or say we had the number 12 and we want to change this number value into a string, we can do as string. And finally we can concatenate things by doing set var1 to words, and then set var2 to also words, and set var3 to var1, and then ampersand to put this on the end of that, var2, and finally we can just display alerts var3 and print out words and also words. So that is all for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.